National Enquirers reporting on Jeff Bezos under scrutiny by federal prosecutors. Federal prosecutors are once again examining the conduct of American media, or AMI for short, which owns the National Enquirer and other magazines. Last year AMI, the company's CEO David Pecker, and Chief Content Officer Dylan Howard with federal prosecutors. In exchange, the AMI deal contained standard language that said that if the company committed any, in other words, the deal would be off. Now Bezos is alleging that a crime has taken place. In a blockbuster, prosecutors in the Southern District of New York are reviewing the National Enquirer's handling of their Bezos reporting to determine if the company may have violated last year's deal, two sources familiar with the matter told CNN on Friday. A spokesman for Bezos declined to comment on whether he has contacted the FBI or other law enforcement authorities about American media's actions. And American media did not respond to a request for comment about whether law enforcement has been in touch. But the company responded to Bezos by saying in a statement on Friday morning that Further, the company did not immediately elaborate on what the four-man board will be doing. Pecker is one of the Bezos Enquirer story is incredibly complicated, but it boils down to this: the Enquirer has embarrassing photos and texts of Bezos and his girlfriend, Lauren Sanchez. When the Enquirer story hit later that day, Bezos put his they. In one of the emails Bezos published, an AMI lawyer proposed that Bezos would disavow any belief that the Enquirer's coverage was politically. Rather than accepting the deal, Bezos went public, making a bet that sunlight is the best disinfectant in a sordid case like this. So now everyone is waiting to see. Given Pecker's longtime friendship with President Trump, the Enquirer's role in catching. Ronan Farrow, one of the reporters who covered the Trump Enquirer alliance, tweeted on Thursday that he and a person familiar with the National Enquirer's operation told CNN Business that. Meantime, the Enquirer's website doesn't say a word about this controversy. But the allegations are on the front page of every major paper on Friday. The headline in the HuffPost and the New York Post had more fun Bezos.
Raindrop, drop top, smoking, no cooking the hot bar. Fucking on your bitch, yeah, that.